This is the Jose Soto Show. You're listening to Jose Soto, the one and the only. Are there any other Jose Sotos on YouTube? I don't know. But there was a message that was sent to me by this guy who asked a bunch of questions, and he was like, wait a minute, I'm not sure if I have the right Jose Soto. I'm like, what do you mean? Is there another Jose Soto out there with another show? I don't get it. So I don't think there is any other Jose Soto. I don't think there is. Anyway, I had a friend who was named Jose Soto just like me. We were just acquaintances. We were never... Usually you don't want to have, be friends with the person who has the same name as you do. Same last name and everything. I mean, it's just kind of creepy. But, I don't know. It didn't really bother me, but I guess it bothered the other guy. So, yeah, I can understand. Yeah, it looks kind of goofy. Yeah, you hang out with somebody who's the same last name and same name and everything. Yeah, but he was more uglier than me, so... I was alright. Anyway, today we got the news that GLAAD, Gay Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, you know those people. Basically the media watchdog to see if there's anything anti-gay going on in Hollywood and media and all that. And for the past few years, GLAAD has been trying to take down this pathetic, kind of really gutter-like talk show named Jose Luis Sin Censura, which is I don't know, it's just a goofy, circusy talk show, kind of like Jerry Springer, but really worse than Jerry Springer. I mean, Jerry Springer is tolerable, but this is not that tolerable. If you're somebody that wants high-quality entertainment and talk show, I mean, this is not for you. This is for somebody who is, lacks basic education, basic morals. Basically for gutter people. How about that? People of the gutter. And I have nothing against people of the gutter, as long as they don't come and mess with me and bother me or do anything of that sort. And believe it or not, most of the people are not dangerous. They're too stupid to commit a hate crime. Especially in my culture, community, whatever you want to say. Which is, of course, the Latino community. Or the Mexican community. I think most of us are Mexicans here in the Southwest than anywhere else. And it's quite funny that the majority of Latinos in this country are Mexican, but yet, if you look at Univision, which is supposed to be the biggest Spanish-speaking Latino network, it's all Cubans and Puerto Ricans. Oh, and Dominicans. I forgot about that. But Mexicans don't even notice that. I noticed that. I'm like, wait a minute. It's supposed to be for Mexicans, and yet you have all these Cubans, Dominicans. I'm nothing against that. I'm not against Cubans. It's just, if you're Mexican, you're supposed to be if the majority of the Latino population is Mexican, why do you want to have all these, people that's supposed to represent you? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I don't really have a problem with that. It's just something that I want to point it out to a lot of people that I know, and my relatives and my family, my friends who are Mexican. I explain to them, this is what's going on. Univision is based in Miami, and yet we're supposed to listen to them. I don't know. That's fine. You can listen to whatever you want to listen to. It's just that I don't find it that comfortable. And besides, Univision doesn't have that quality shows like they used to have anymore. Really good shows that were funny, entertaining. Now it's just garbage. And I can say that pretty much with other networks as well. So, it turns out that Jose Luis Censura Jose Luis Sin Censura, which means Jose Luis Uncensored in English, which was basically a trashy show. I mean, it's for the bottom of the garbage pile. This is where the bottom feeders will go to feed on each other and kick each other's asses. But what people don't know is that most of that stuff was fake. People that go up into the stage on the show, all of these guests were basically fake. They were actors. Well, they were really bad actors, let me just say that. Because I know somebody that went onto that show. He got paid $150, and then I know about a transgender female went to the show as well to get beaten up for money. And that's the ironic part of this, is that transgenders and homos go to the show, Jose Luis Censura, to get paid to participate in the show, to be a guest. And they do it for the money. They don't care about whether it looks good for gays or anything of that sort. But supposedly, because I seen that show when I was a little younger, when it was less trashier. Now it's just really, it was just really stupid. But I used to watch that show, and yeah, there were times where they were saying the word puto, which means faggot. Well, not really faggot. People misunderstand that word. Because in the U.S., we have the word faggot, which is a derogatory term for homosexual. Alright, and I think the only derogatory term in Spanish I can think of, and Mexican Spanish. I'm not talking about Christian Spanish or Spanish from Europe, Spain. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Mexican Spanish, because that's what the show used, was Mexican Spanish. Puto is not necessarily a derogatory term. I know that George Lopez, who's turned out to be less funnier these days, he uses that word a lot. Mas puto, which means, what a... It's supposed to kind of have the same impact as what a fag or what a homo, but I use the word homo. I don't use the word fag because that's derogatory. But when they say puto, it actually means a male whore. People don't really understand that. Joto, I think, is a more derogatory term because it's a specific term that has been used on gay people, on gay men specifically. Joto. And there's actually no derogatory term for lesbians in Spanish. I don't think there is. Mexican Spanish. No, there's just lesbian. Oh yeah, well actually I take it back. There is. Forgot about that word. Marimacha. Because then there's maricon, which means it's like lesser than joto. But puto is supposed to be a really insulting term, though. It's calling you you're a whore, you're a slut. In a way, it's meant to feminize you. So it's kind of insulting for a Mexican man to be called that term. It's supposed to be insulting. And yeah, I've seen this show many times before in the past. It was okay in the past. Now it's just garbage. But yeah, I've seen some of this stuff, and it really didn't hurt me because some of those guests were just really retarded. I mean, they were just totally gross. Totally not. It's not like they bring in innocent gay people and they're being taunted. I mean, these guests, quote guests, these guests are up there flaunting their asses, flaunting their penises, and enticing the audience to call them names. I mean, it's just garbage. But the thing is that what people don't understand is that if you look at the audience of this show, Jose Luis Censura, and you can probably look it up on YouTube or something. I'll play you a clip here if you like. I'll look that up. But the thing is that the audience is pretty much typical grade A. They didn't grad. Most of them are probably high school dropouts and all that. And yes, some of them get up and they say, derogatory terms that we think are derogatory. It depends who interprets it. GLAAD, which was managed by a Mexican before. What's his name? Jose Barrios, was it? I forgot his name. It was... Yeah, but this guy managed GLAAD to the ground. I mean, he just broke it into little pieces. And then you had the whole AT&T fiasco where, of course, AT&T had a lot of influence on GLAAD. And GLAAD, of course, came out in favor of this whole AT&T merger. What was it, with T-Mobile? I think it was. Well, AT&T was merging with T-Mobile, and they came out and testified for the FCC, saying, oh, it's great, it's a good thing for the gay community. Yeah, because you got paid for it. You got paid to be the patsy and the mouthpiece for AT&T, calling it equality and progress and whatever. But there are certain gay Mexicans in the U.S., not talking about the ones in Mexico. Those are completely different people. Let me tell you this. Gay people in Mexico are a little bit more, how can I say, more down to earth, a little bit more knowledgeable of how to work the streets. Not to work the streets to be a prostitute. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how they manage to survive in the streets of Mexico. I mean, it's not really easy to be gay in Mexico. It's not. But I have to really tell you what gay means in Mexico for us to understand this whole thing. And that's why I need to get into this. But before I go into that, before I go into explaining what we Mexicans believe on homosexuality, and I know some of you already know, some of you who listen to the show know, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about that. But before we go into that, let's play this clip of Jose Luis Censura. This is supposed to be a clip that shows you all the supposed homophobic actions and behavior of the audience. Anyway, totally garbage. Oh, okay. Well, here on this part, you have a woman that comes out and says, telling a gay guy, don't live this way. It's wrong. Then you have some guys yelling the word puto, which is supposed to be derogatory. And you can take it that way. I mean, it's insulting, but is it derogatory and homophobic? That's one thing. Insulting, oh yeah, if somebody called me a puto and started chanting like that, I would go nuts. I will go there and kick their ass. It's like calling my mother a whore. I mean, that's how I feel about that. You insult me like that, I'm gonna make sure you're gonna regret what you did, and you're not gonna do it ever again. But here's the other thing: the people that are in this show, particularly the guests, who are, some of them are gay on this particular show, on this episode. Yeah, they're there because they want to be there. Now you have this drag queen with pink hair, and she's liking it. I mean, the drag queen's like there, and taunting the audience, and of course the audience, some of the guys, they love this because they can express this like aggression, I guess. Then you have a trans showing off her butt and her tits and everything. Wow. And all the guys get excited, by the way. Anyway. Now here's another clip of another episode. Now it's just there. Oh, now we have a lesbian who's pissed off because they're calling her chumbibo. I don't know what that means. That's actually a new term. I haven't seen that for a while. Oh, now a black guy's there calling a straight guy puto. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. Let's shut it off. I mean, yeah, it's trashy. But the thing is, what I heard is that the producers will be in the audience and they would encourage this type of behavior, not only from the audience who are yelling these derogatory terms and slurs at these people, these guests, but the guests are wild up. And what my friend told me, who went as a guest to this show, he said that, hey, they basically give you, some few drinks to loosen you up. When he was on stage, he was half buzzed, and that's what he told me. I mean, that's how they get all the guests wild up, so they can antagonize the members of the audience, and then the members of the audience get all wild up. And since most of them are basically not, grade A material as far as their educational levels and their intellect is concerned, you're obviously going to see some of this trashy interactions. But to be honest with you, it's kind of fake. It is fake because people don't act like this in real life. They don't. Unless if they're drunk, obviously. If they're drunk, they will act like that. And I've seen this kind of behavior when people are drunk. So yeah. Anyways, let's take a short little break. And we'll be right back after these short messages. So is it derogatory to call somebody a puto? And is it a slur, an anti-gay slur? That's what we are discussing, because that's what most of the members of the audience of Jose Luis Sin Censura were basically yelling. And to be honest with you, if you really look at the official definition of the word puto, translated into what we understand as English here in America, then no, it's not really anti-gay, because you're calling a man a whore. Now, he could be a man whore, yes, and then the people that he has sex with are obviously going to be men. But that doesn't mean that it's supposed to be derogatory towards the sexual orientation, but mostly towards the sexual activity of the person. And that's what I want to get into now. People get confused, and that's fine, because even the people that think that by using these terms like puto, you're calling people fags, you're not really doing that. Let me tell you something. When I grew up as a little boy, and I had a few Mexican bullies, they were there, I mean, but I knew that they were not right in the head. And of course, they never moved up. They never graduated from the 5th grade. So they just dropped out. Yeah, we had people like that. And these guys were just calling me the other word, joto, which means fag, gay, blah, blah, blah. But it is a derogatory term. And of course, they always use my last name to insult me with it. Soto, joto, because it rhymes. Yeah. Kids were cruel back then. But, I grew up with other people, and they were nice to me. I met my boyfriend, my first boyfriend, if you want to call him that, when in 5th grade. Gonzalo was his name. And we dated in 6th grade, but it was like we didn't do anything. And, well, he did something. I didn't do anything. Because I didn't know nothing about sex. Nothing about sex. When you're 11 years old, what do you know? Nothing. All you hear is about these rumors like, oh, and then of course I was during the AIDS crisis, and I was really afraid of that. So when Gonzalo took out his penis, I was like, I don't know what to do. I liked him. I think he was really cute and attractive. He was a little bit bigger than me. He kind of repeated the 5th grade a couple of times already. So I think he was probably 12 and a half, something like that. But he was already kind of now entering puberty. He had pubes and everything, and that kind of interests me a lot. I was like, what does he have pubic hair and I don't, kind of thing. I felt a little bit insufficient. But yeah, we did kind of mess around, but I just didn't know what it was, and he never really pushed me to do anything. He didn't, violate me. He didn't molest me. And that was good of him. I mean, he was a nice guy. But still, he was a little bit dumb and horny. Let me just tell you that. So, but I know he grew up, and I don't know what happened to him. I know that he was dating a girl in high school because we went our separate ways when we went to middle school. So he went to high school, and I know that he had a girl, and that's all I knew. Was he closeted? No, I don't think he was closeted. I think what happened back then was he saw me like a girl. I mean, he saw me like a little putito, as they say. In Mexican culture, what you have to understand about Mexican masculinity and machismo is the ability to overcome other men and women, obviously, because if you are anything close to a woman, you're no longer a man. You're no longer capable of penetrating anybody. And when you are equated to a homosexual, that means you're close to a female. Now, how do you equate a homosexual close to a female is if that person that you call a homosexual in our culture gets penetrated in the anus, or sucks a cock, or has romantic attachment to man, he's a homo. And it's really simple. But most of it is based on behavior, mannerisms, like if he acts a little feminine, right? Then we know, that guy is that guy's a homo. That's what it is. But not only that, is that we also believe that it depends also mostly on behavior. And that's something that I guess a lot of Anglo gay people of European descent, based on European psychology, derived from Bavaria, by the way. This pseudo science that we call Freudian psychology, in which we try to explain our behavior, right? And to label it at the same time. So if anybody does anything sexual, and this is what I hate about this type of psychology and psychiatry. It's really quackery, in a sense, to me at least it is. Because if a guy touches another guy, he's automatically gay, right? He's gay, and that's it. He's a homo. He was hiding himself. He was in the closet, and that kind of screwed things up for a lot of people. That's why there's so much fear of bi-curious guys, or guys who are pretty much straight, but they wouldn't mind a blowjob here and there from a gay guy, but they can't do it because of this foaming at the mouth indoctrination, this fascistic approach to human sexuality, saying that if you let a gay guy even touch you a little bit, you're gay. That's not true. That is not true. And it's based on my own experience, and it's based on people that I know. is based on real observance, not based on reading a textbook or anything like that. And yes, textbooks can help, but if you want to study human psychology and sexuality in particular, you have to look at the damn thing. You have to look at people. And believe me, I know of a lot of gay Mexican men who fall in love with straight guys all the time, because the straight guy will come in and have sex with him. You know, obviously the straight guy is going to be the top. He's going to be penetrating the gay guy, because the gay guy is the feminine. He is the woman, and the top guy, the straight guy, is the man. So, but how we Mexicans view this is that we have a masculine and we have a feminine. We have a top, a bottom. We have a penetrator and a penetrated. That's how it works. It works fine. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing. It's not hard to understand. It's not. We don't need to bring out any I don't know, any of these scales or any of these measurements, percentage-wise. You know, I mean, the system that we have, I wouldn't call it a system, but just this unspoken kind of tradition or this culture of ours, this gay Mexican, I wouldn't call it even gay, I just said this male, Hispanic male culture, Hispanic male masculinity, is all based on behavior. And it's not based on labels. And when you label things, you basically constrict them. And that's what really happens. Now, do I consider myself a gay man? Well, yes, I do. Even under those prescriptions. Yes, because I've been penetrated, okay? Yes. I admit to it. I don't know why for some gay guys it's really hard to admit that you've been fucked in the ass. I mean, look, I just admitted yes. I mean, I'm not really good at it either, so. But in Mexico, there's no such thing. On Mexican male culture, and Mexican male psychosexuality, there's no such thing as versatile. Okay, once dick goes into your anus and you love it, and of course they do, right? Dick goes into the ass and you like it, that's it. That's what you are. You love being penetrated and you're gay. Plain and simple. Okay? Guy comes over, a gay guy comes over, he sucks your dick. Nothing. You're just a guy. I mean, that's how we view it, and that's how we view it in our culture. Guys, real man or masculine man, as you want to call it, do the penetrating. They're the ones who are the top. They're the ones who are the dominant one, and the submissive bottom one is the gay guy or the female of the relationship, or of the act, if you want to call it. I mean, there's no relationship there unless if they're dating or something. But, you know, I've always been researching this and looking up on this, and, you know, I was raised in a Mexican neighborhood. I was raised with Mexicans all around me all the time, 24/7. And believe me, I've seen a lot of shit. I seen my neighbor that I had when I was in middle school. He had a wife. He was married, and then here comes this little really feminine gay guy, but he's a gangster kind of. You know, he has the tattoos and the bald head and everything, and a few scars here and there. I mean, but he was really gay. He was really feminine, and he came over and oh yeah, I caught him. Because we live in a duplex, or actually it was a fourplex, but two duplexes together. And my neighbor was, because we shared the backyard kind of thing. So I went outside because I wanted to take my bike. I was going to go to my friend's house. And here comes this guy with the gay guy, the gay cholo, the gay gangster, and the gay gangster just drops trowel, bends over, and I'm getting my bike, and I turn around and I see this, and then my neighbor just goes at it, and he fucks that guy like there's no tomorrow. And later on, turns out that there were problems in the marriage of my neighbor's marriage with his wife. Supposedly, the wife hasn't been giving him anything. And but there were problems. But they had kids though. They had like three. No, they had 4 kids. I remember. Yeah, 4 kids. And but still, I mean, that guy was typical Mexican. Typical of our people. Cheats on his wife with a gay guy. It happens a lot. I mean, if you look at my school, there was a lot of hanky-panky going. I mean, in middle school, there was a lot of hanky-panky. A lot. I mean, I know some of you white people will be thinking, what school did you go to? I mean, it got to a point where people in PE, all the guys, who are all Mexicans, I mean, I have seen everybody's dick. I've seen except for Edgar's. I don't remember ever seeing his. So I think it was around, I would say 4 or 5 guys. I have not seen their dicks. Everybody else, which I would say around 45 guys around there, 45 guys, I seen their dicks. I seen them. Some of them, they'll just show it. They'll just show it to each other. They'll show it to me, and then they got the feeling that maybe I'm gay because I don't know. Maybe I gave out this gay vibes or have gaydar or something. And then one of them tried to, he grabbed my head, tried to, come down here, come down here and suck my dick. But that didn't happen because I wasn't into that. He was totally not my type. Totally not my type. I mean, he wasn't that attractive to me, at least. Although I was attracted to some of the guys. And then we had this penis competition with like 6 guys, I remember, in middle school, and we measured our dicks. That was also very interesting. But see, I was growing up with this, and I didn't, I was used to this kind of shit. I was used to this whole thing. And being a Jehovah's Witness, which was very strict, I was raised in a very strict household. You couldn't do much shit. And I didn't care, because I ran off with my friends, and my parents hated it. But I ran off with my friends, with my neighbors, and we had a good time. All my friends were Mexicans. When I got into high school, I had my first Asian friend, and then I didn't have my first white friend. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have my first white friend until I left high school and went to college. That's when I had my first white friend. Real close friend. In high school, I had a few white guys who were my acquaintances and my colleagues, but they were not my friends. Like we hang out or go to each other's house or anything. No. And in high school, yeah, you saw those divisions. You saw the blacks, which were a few, in one corner, and then you saw the Asians, which were a little bit more, and one side of the quad area where you go eat. We didn't have a cafeteria; we had a quad area. And of course, there were the white guys over there by the student council office, so they were hanging out over there. And Mexicans, well, everywhere else, because we were a lot. And yeah, I mean, there was a lot of shit going on in high school too, but it wasn't as much as in middle school, because in middle school, everybody just was like, I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was in the water back then, but a lot of these guys were just open. I mean, especially in PE, some of them would run around naked, and they would just tease the hell out of me. I don't know. They probably knew I was gay. I probably knew that. And I got proposition many times from these guys. I mean, they're all straight, and they're telling me, suck my dick. I want to try this, and I don't know why. I was very, very. I think I don't know. I was too picky. Right now, probably I wish I would have done some few things with some of these guys because I was very. Now I'm thinking, wow. Now I'm curious. Now I want to know what how that will feel like, or how that should have played out. But you see, I was sort of. I don't know how to explain it. I was sort of detached from all this. I didn't really. I did pay attention to this, but it didn't really affect me. Like, oh, I should do something about this. I was kind of sexually turned off. I mean, there were some few things that did turn me on. Like this one guy, call him Shy Boy, and he was perfect. He was gorgeous, handsome Mexican man, and he had muscles and everything. That really turned me on. But yes, I got to see his dick, and it was perfect. But he didn't ask me to do anything. He didn't say. But if he were to ask me to, hey, come here and, get down on your knees, I probably would have gotten on my knees. I probably would have. For him, yes. But these other guys, I mean, most of these guys were kind of childish, or, they were kind of, I mean, they were just boys. I mean, we were all boys. We were in our, we were 12, 13, 14 years old. I mean, we didn't give a shit, And yeah, there were boners everywhere, people sharing each other's boners, and it was just kind of like, this is what we do. But nobody ever said the word gay. That wasn't even in the equation. Not until high school, right? That was when I kind of knew all about this, that this is what my identity was based on the Anglo understanding. But, but I didn't lose my virginity in a real sense, because I did play around. I did grab some guy's dick, and and of course I played around with Gonzalo before then. But I didn't lose my virginity until I was in 8th grade, in a sense, and that was having oral sex. That's when I figured out things for me and what I wanted to do. So, but of course the guy that I performed on, he was straight, and he came out to be straight, obviously. And I met him actually right after high school. I saw him at the store, and we said hi and everything. He was really nice. So that's how we are in our culture, and we I don't know why. I don't know why Mexicans, this whole machismo thing, and that's what it is. This whole machismo thing. I am more sexually dominant than you are. But that's what it is. Anyway, why don't we take a break? I'm probably gonna go to the bathroom and jerk off. Brought back a lot of memories. Yes. Well, that's my upbringing as a gay Mexican, so there you go. Anyway, we'll be right back after this short message. This is The Jose Soto Show. You're listening to Jose Soto. I always get asked. I know, I didn't go to the bathroom, by the way. I just took a break and took a sip of water. And I calmed myself down. Look, I have urges like everybody else here, folks. But I calm myself down. I'm not that crazy. I wish I was a little bit more crazier, but at the same time, I'm glad I'm not. I mean, you have all these diseases and all these things going around. I'm more of a romantic. I'm a romantic homo. And yes, I've had many relationships. And today, I'm discussing this whole gay Latino. What is it like to be a gay Latino? Is it like in Jose Luis Censura? Is it like that? No, it's not. I mean, that's all bogus, by the way. But you see, some of it happens, but at the Jose Luis Censura show, it's all pumped up. It's all exaggerated. And I mean, that's what I'm trying to get through. It's all exaggerated. There's nothing based on reality in that show. Nothing based on reality. So when the gays go up there and make a mockery of themselves, they're doing it for the money. They get paid. They're paid guests. They're paid actors. And their stories are all bullshit, by the way. Oh, he cheated on me, I cheated on her, and I slept with his dad, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but what they do, I don't remember, but my friend told me that what they do is they get together and then the producers will come out and say, okay, this is what This is what you do. This is, it's not scripted, but they tell you what the story is, so you follow the story. And the other thing why Jose Luis Censura was dropped, I mean, they wouldn't drop the show just because Glad wanted to. Glad doesn't have that kind of power. And believe me, Glad was trying to drop the show, get the show off the air for, since I can remember. I think since I was in high school. When I got out of high school, this started to get ugly, this Jose Luis Censura. Because Jose Luis, I don't know how many, how long has it been? Has it been, no, it hasn't been that long. No. I think I was probably in college when Glad started to come out with all this, hey, Jose Luis is getting ugly. And that has been at least 5 years. Oh, no more, probably, since 2005. Around there, so it's probably been about 7 years. They're trying to get the show off the air. And of course, you have this other Hispanic group. And there's a difference between Mexican and Hispanic. Mexicans we are from a nation called Mexica, or Mexico, as it turns out to be. And we have a specific lineage to the Aztecs, Toltecs, and Mayans, with some mixture of European blood, and that's what you have. But there are a lot of Mexicans who are not, many Mexicans have pure indigenous blood, and some of them are pretty attractive young men or older men. When you have pure native blood, and maybe a little bit of mixture of mestizo blood, right? I think everybody in Mexico now has a little bit of mestizo, even if they are, if they look totally purely native. But you have a lot of Mexicans that are, they have mestizo in them. Mestizo just means mixed blood with the European people, and you have all this mixed blood. You have this mestizo, and then you have a little bit of that, and that kind of shows the good qualities of the European DNA. And if you see some of these Mexican guys in Mexico, wow, there's a lot of, I would suggest, if you want to look at really good looking guys, would be Nayarit. Nayarit has really good looking guys. Guanajuato has really good looking guys. Yeah, you could go to the capital. I mean, there's always, all different kinds of guys. But Mexico City, the capital, is really, it's really out there. I mean, if you're not really prepared for ultimate partying, like I am not sometimes, then you're gonna have problems trying to adjust. But everywhere else, I mean, I would love to retire in Puerto Vallarta. Puerto Vallarta has amazing guys, handsome, toned. And I'm not that kind of a guy who's really superficial. I'm not. But you see, I appreciate beauty. Just like straight guys, when they look at hot girls and their boobs and their asses and their pussies. Yes, I understand, because that's what you're attracted to. Makes logical sense to me. But, there are guys who are, God, I mean, I'm getting a boner right now just thinking about them. Damn. But, let me take care of it. No, so, I mean, there's nothing really much to talk about regarding what makes a gay person in Mexico gay. Like I said, it's all behavior. And for some people, that's hard to understand. Because I know a few guys, one of them was a white guy. He went to Mexico to live there for a couple months. I mean, he bought a house, like a small little condo, up in Puerto Vallarta. And what he found was a gorgeous man. I think he was in his late 20s. And my friend's like 30 something. He's 38. He's, white guy, typical white guy, But he's there, and he falls for this guy, right? And the guy's like, all right, whatever. And so I went to visit him. That was 3 years ago when I went to visit him at his condo in Puerto Vallarta, and I had a good time because I know how to take advantage of Mexican towns. I'm Mexican. I know how to talk their language. These are my people. I know what to say. I know what not to say, when to say it, how to say it, and I get what I want sometimes. But my friend had a little bit of trouble trying to adjust, and I tried to help him. And he found this boyfriend. Turns out the boyfriend had a wife, 3 kids, I think it was. And when this came out, he called me and he said, I need you here pronto. So I went down there. I flew down there. And he was very upset with this. He couldn't understand why the guy would have a wife. And I said, well, because in Mexico, our understanding of sexuality is totally different. The guy here has a wife. Probably the wife and them are not that intimate. And he said that they were not. But you have to understand that, he's not bisexual. He's a straight guy. Because I asked specific questions. And this is the first time I got really deep with my friend. And I asked him, are you the bottom, are you the top? And well, he kind of stammered a little bit. He didn't want to say. He turned red. But he said, yes, I'm the bottom. See, there you go. My friend now is starting to understand, yes, and he's a straight guy. Straight guys will have wives sometimes. Most of them will have wives and children. That doesn't mean that they like it all the time. Believe me, a lot of them don't like it. And the reason why this straight guy was with my friend is because, of course, the money. That's always the motivating factor. But also, he enjoyed the sex. I mean, he said that the sex was much better with him than it was with the wife. Because the wife, he had kids, and there was problems, and there was always these issues. And believe me, a lot of these Mexican married couples, they have a lot of issues. A lot of issues. And they can't divorce, by the way. Divorcing is not really popular in my culture. Over here, it is a little bit more than it is over there. But yeah, you do get some people who are like that. He couldn't understand it until the last day I was there. He finally got it. And so he's the top. So that means he's not gay. And it's like, yeah, that's what it means. But it's just this, you have to understand that this is how we think in traditional terms. You're the gay guy, you're the feminine, you're the female of the relationship. And he had to adjust to that. It was quite interesting. Throughout the years, they had to adjust to this notion that basically broke every other conception, misconception, or understanding that he had about human sexuality concerning gay guys. He thought, well, my boyfriend is gay. No, your boyfriend. He said, okay, but he's bisexual. Well, call it what you want. Straight, bisexual, I don't care. In Mexico, we don't have those terms. We don't care about this. Yes, we have it in our textbooks. If you go to any medical school, or if you go to talk to a psychologist, they adopted some of these European psychiatric evaluations. But here in Mexico, the common folk, the commoner, which, all of us over there, we don't believe in these labels like a lot of Americans or a lot of white people here believe in them. We don't. It's all based on just who's the one getting fucked and who's the one fucking. Okay? It's pretty simple. We don't use those kind of labels. Okay? Who's the puto and who's the man? That's how it is. No, now the more popular term for that is not puto. It's puñal. That's actually more popular. I hear that word more than puto. Puñal is basically is feminine guy. Oh, you're so feminine, it's like saying kind of fag, but again, there's no real interpretation of the word fag into Spanish, Mexican Spanish. There isn't. Because fag means a burning stick, a bundle of sticks used to burn something. And of course, back then, Europeans used to burn gays, homos at the stake. Meanwhile, the Aztecs, we were just having butt sex all the time. That's kind of funny. José Luis and Censura. Well, let me go to the article. I have it right here in front of me. Let me just go to look at that. Oh, yes, I was talking about José Luis and Censura. Sorry that I digressed this far. And that's what I do. I kind of, I always have a thought, and then I go into another thought, because it's all really based on my experience. It's all based on the things that I've observed. And, I've been through a lot of shit. I mean, I don't know why I survived. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I'm breathing. There are times that I thought, I should have been dead. All the things I really, went through. And right now, I don't view myself as an exciting guy. It's just the environments I grew up, the situations that I was in. It wasn't the things that I was doing. Like, I put myself in those situations. It's just that the situations were brought to me, kind of thing. So there's a lot of things I went through, yeah. A lot of things. So when you ask me, how is it like to be Mexican and gay in this culture? I say, well, you work, I don't know. It's a lot more stressful because you are Mexican. And that's the thing. The Mexican life is not that easy. It's a little bit stressful if you're not really well adjusted to this. I mean, if you're transported from American white culture and you're transplanted into the Mexican culture, you're going to be stressed out because of all the demands. Family in Mexican culture is important. It's the number one thing. And I don't mean no family. We don't mean by mom, dad, and kids, 2 kids and the dog. No, that's not. That's from these stupid magazines that people have been showing around since the 50s. That's where the National Organization for Marriage, all these anti-gay stupid doofuses, all these fake organizations, that's where they get all that fascination from. From all those magazine covers where they show the dad and the kids eating dinner and mom bringing out the turkey, and they live in this nice little house with the white picket fence and the dog and everything. I mean, that's all illusionary. And we Mexicans know that. We don't. When we say family, we don't mean mom and dad and kids. We mean mom, dad, kids, uncle, aunt, grandpa, grandma, cousins. A lot of cousins, by the way. A lot of aunts, a lot of uncles. I have over 300 cousins where I live. That's what I know. I have over 300 cousins. Some of them like me, some of them don't. And yeah, we get along. We try to. I mean, it's really hard. And it's also burdensome because you have all these family connections that, you feel sort of responsible to them. You feel like you want to take care of them. And I do take care of my family. If they are nice, but if they're assholes, well, fuck them. I mean, that's where I come from. That's my perspective. And the gay part, well, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. I don't think it is. I don't know why there are a lot of other gay Latinos who are making a big deal about this. And they are. I mean, you're already Mexican, and that's already hard enough. With all the booze, with all the relatives and the cousins and the family, and right? And then you have the quinceañeras to go to. You have all these things, and I mean, yeah, it's stressful. A lot of activity there. And then you add the gay thing to it, right? And to some members of the family, it depends what gay you are. Again, there are different, right now we have these collisions between traditional Mexican values, masculine values, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. If you're the one being penetrated, you're the bottom, you're the gay guy. That's sort of still alive, but it's clashing with this new media input. The Hispanic media, Univision and all these other stupid networks, they're telling the Latinos everything that they need to know about Anglo perception of homosexuality. From television shows to newscasts, we are being told this is what gay means. This is what gay means. And it's, what is it? They look at other people. Ricky Martin, for example. Right? And this is what gay is. You have somebody who's with a guy. Instead of looking at the behavior and the actions, you just say, well, it's just somebody that likes a guy and does stuff with a guy. Instead of asking what stuff, who's doing what. I mean, that's important. That's what. If you look at all these gay Mexican jokes, and believe me, Mexicans, we love our gay jokes. We have a lot of these fascinating gay jokes, and we take them very seriously. These Mexican gay jokes, we do, and they're all depicting behavior. They all depict anal penetration, and that's what it is, or oral sex penetration. It's not, oh, well, I wear a rainbow scarf now, and that's what I am. And I'm this identity. I'm this new thing for my family. And I think most families get that. Most Mexican families say, it's not really a big deal. It's not, yeah, you might take it up the ass. But what happens, though, is I will say this. Because of this perception, still that we have this traditional Mexican masculine values, if you want to call it that say, a man must never get penetrated. You penetrate the fags or the woman. That's what they say, right? You penetrate. You're the man. So when dad finds out that you're a gay guy, oh no, my son's getting butt fucked. That's what it comes into his mind. My son is getting butt fucked and he's sucking cock. Oh no. That's what comes into dad's mind. And I know that for sure. I know that for a fact because I know personally. Okay? But my dad got over it really quickly. It wasn't about that. It was more than that. At least for me, it is more than that. But the ones who don't come out of the closet, the ones who are in the quote down low, and now we are now adopting this black thing, this black culture of down low and all that. The blacks have a total different issue, but we're adopting that term now, and we're saying the down low means these straight guys, and you see them in these gangs in LA. Believe me, all those gangsters are doing each other. I know that for a fact. Yeah, some of them, most of them have girlfriends, right? And then they fuck, they beat the fuck around. They may have kids and stuff like that, but that's one thing. Most of them don't have kids, actually. They pull out. I know that. Look, I've been invited to gangster parties when I was young, and believe me, oh god, it was a lot of shit went down in those parties. A lot of shit. And it wasn't the fact that this is a gay party or anything, white gay guys and twinks and all that, they will say, oh, this is a brown party or something. This is a white party. This is what you do. This is certain behaviors. But we Mexicans, we don't subscribe to protocols. All we're saying, except for the fact that just don't have a dick up your ass or a dick in your mouth. That's all we are focusing on, because that's the sexual act. We look at the sexual act. We don't look at people's feelings or emotions or any of that shit. But a lot of Mexicans, yeah, they will say, I love pussy, right? Many Mexicans love pussy. They love pussy because it's the ultimate penetrative experience. But when you don't get that, what happens? Well, you go fuck a gay guy. That's what happens. I know that for a fact. And many gay guys, or not gay guys, straight guys, who go the other way as well, who fuck gay guys and all this. These straight guys will stay in the closet, as far as what we know. The perception of American Anglo minds say, well, wait a minute, these guys are letting other guys suck their cocks. They must be gay too. Why don't they come out of the closet? Why don't they wear a rainbow flag? It's not that, genius. It's not that. It's just that they don't view themselves in the same position as that person who's sucking their dick. It's not the same thing. It's not the same position. It's not the same experience. It's not. For Mexicans, when your dick gets sucked, it's a whole different experience than sucking a dick. Okay? It's different. We understand that. And for others, they don't understand that. They look at the whole picture and say, oh, no, it's a whole sexual act. Well, we look at it differently. And I know there will be some Mexicans who don't understand, who are trying to understand this, but they know. In the back of their mind, they know that this is what's going on. They know this. And some of them will, of course, deny that they're gay. No, I'm not gay. Yeah, because they haven't had a dick up their ass. That's just a basic rule. And it's so simple to understand. Even a 5-year-old can follow this rule. Really simple. Alright. Well, no, let's just skip this break, and I'm going to end the show because I talked for a while about this now, and I hope you understand this. What makes you a gay Mexican? Why do gay Mexicans act differently? Yes, we do. How is it to be a Mexican and gay? And you know what? It's not that different, except for a few variances. In fact, the way we view things, how is it like to be a gay Anglo? It's a little bit different. Yeah, whole different experiences than what you might imagine. We might be equal as humans, but we're not. We don't come from the same conditions. We don't come from the same background. We don't have the same experiences. And the thing is that our experience, I mean, we always view gay white guys kind of like, what the hell? What's up with that? I mean, we seen, when I went to a gay pride festival down there in LA, I was in LA for this gay pride festival. There were a lot of guys at this restaurant that we were at after the parade, I think it was. And there were like these just regular looking guys. They're all Mexicans. A few of them were gangsters. Some of them were cowboys, Mexican cowboys. And then most of them were just regular Mexican people, Mexican guys dressed up in normal clothes. And then you see this white guy come in and he's like, whoa, looking around, like, what the hell is this? There's a gay white guy. And he's fascinated by what he sees. But then what I also noticed is that he was sort of walking around like really funny. He tried to flaunt his ass a little bit as he walked towards the counter to order his food. He was moving his ass like a girl. Oh. And all the guys were whistling him, like if she was a girl. I mean, that's what we Mexicans do. We Mexican guys will whistle at ass, I don't know how to whistle. I don't know. I get whistled at sometimes. And no, and I don't even move my ass. I don't walk like a girl. I don't walk like a girl. I walk like Jose, okay? So, sometimes the last time I got whistled was like a year ago. I was walking down the street. Some guy just whistled at me. I don't know if how do you know he was gay from that far away? I don't know. But then, some of these Mexican guys that were at the restaurant, they were like looking at this guy, this white guy. They're like, shh, look at this little fag, Look at this guy. The hell is this little creep? And everybody there was like, we're not the outcast. Why are you asking us how it is to be gay Mexican? We should be asking you how it is to be that way, because we're not gay and Mexican. We're just Mexicans. We're just Mexicans, and sometimes we're horny, and sometimes we are not. Sometimes we have emotional needs. Sometimes we're just plainly machista. That's how we are. Even the feminine ones, even the most gayest Mexican guys will somehow, someday, always have their masculine side. It's just in us, it's in our genetics. I mean, that's what it is. And I always get that question when I go to these panels or when I have events, when I'm speaking to people. They raise their hand and say, "Jose, how does it like to be gay Mexican? Like what? Like if being gay or homosexuality was, imported to Mexico from the U.S. or something. It's like if the U.S. invented homosexuality. No. Homosexuality has existed in the Mexican culture since the Incas first stepped their feet on land in Peru. Well, that's what they say. That's the story. That the Latino people, we all came from the Peruvian countryside, somewhere up there in the Andes. That's what they say. I don't know if it's true or not. Could be true. It's more believable though. So, how do we get there? I don't know. I'm not going to get into that yet. So, I mean, this is not really that hard to understand. And when people ask me how it is like to be Mexican and gay, I'm like, I don't want to even answer that question anymore. Because we don't really, we Mexicans, we don't look at it that way. We don't. And if you want to say how is it like to be a bottom in Mexico, well, yeah, you get persecuted. It's like any other culture. You have homophobia. You have all the other things. You have gay guys being bashed because the thing is, yeah, it's homophobia. Phobia is when you have a fear of something, and there are a lot of guys who have fear of being bottom bitches. They are afraid of being feminized. So when they see a guy like that in their vicinity, they get really freaked out about it, and it's all over the planet. I mean, it's not just Mexico. But in Mexico, you have a lot more problems because the fact that there's no police really doing their job. Then, of course, you're going to have robberies, you're going to have rapes, and that's what's going on right now. People are saying that the most homophobic country in the world is, what, Jamaica or something? Uganda? Yeah, I mean, I understand why. But the thing is that most of the homophobia, the anti-gay attacks, are in Mexico because of the breaking down of society. Whenever a society breaks down, like it's right now, it's melting down in Mexico, then you're going to have an increase of violence, homophobia, and hate crime attacks, and rape. The biggest crime against transgenders and gay guys in Mexico is rape, believe it or not. Next to that, of course, is assault and physical violence. And it happens. And it happens a lot. I don't know why in our culture that happens. And it's not really a cultural thing. It's not like it's only in Mexico, but it happens a lot more, I think, in Mexico because maybe of the hyper masculinity, maybe because of this homophobia, the fact that if you rape a gay guy, you feel better about yourself, and you're not as gay as that guy. I mean, that's what I've been noticing, and in many of these cases. So if you want to ask, how is it like to be gay Mexican? Well, it's different from what your experience is. Because not only do you have to come out to just your mom and dad and your siblings, you're going to have to come out to everybody. That includes aunts, uncles, cousins. Usually you tell the cousins first, and then you move up the ladder, up to your parents. Parents will find out what you do, and yeah, there's always going to be that reaction. Always. I mean, it's not going to just be white people are more tolerant. No, it's not that. just that when you say the word gay or I'm a homo, parents think that, oh, now he's gonna have dick up the ass and he's gonna be a woman. That's what kind of trails into their minds. And it's not always true, by the way. And that's what I've been noticing, that a lot of these countries in South America in particular, they mix it up a little bit. They think that the word gay means also transgender or transvestite. No, I understand that part. I understand that. And Mexico, we know this too. A lot of Mexicans know that a transgender is a whole different story. It's almost closer, more to a woman. A gay guy is just a guy that has a man pussy. That's all it is. And a transgender is somebody with boobs. I mean, that's a difference, right? Well, in Mexico, probably there's not that much of a difference between a transvestite, and a gay guy, because they're those over there. They're women. They're feminized. So that's how we look at it. Well, it's not perfect. I'm not saying no, it's perfect the way that we look at things. It's just it's a lot more simpler than trying to divide things. LGBT, what's a T, what's a B, and then we have this thing called questioning, right? What does that mean, by the way? Questioning. Either you are or you're not. Either you like it or you don't. Either you do it or in Mexico, that's how we are. Mexicans, that's how we are. Do it or not do it. Suck my cock or get the fuck out of the way. Plain and simple. I mean, why is it so... I don't know. Then some people ask, what's the religion? If Catholic religion really infiltrates this. And no, it really doesn't. The Catholic Church is homophobic. No, I wouldn't say homophobic. I would say anti-gay. I mean, it's totally anti-gay. But the Catholic Church in Mexico has been kind of lenient as of late. And you have these bishops coming out and saying, you know what, we're not going to go against the gays. We're not going to do that. I don't know why in the U.S. the Catholics here are a little bit more aggressive than they are in Mexico. That's what I noticed. Alright, we come to the end of our show. I hope you enjoyed today's special on how it's like to be gay and Mexican with Jose Soto. I hope I enlightened you somewhat. I want you to have a good night, and I'll see you next time.